So anyway, we're actually going to go into that Metro 2033 timeline, that follow timeline, that Stalker universe, and talk about the Battle of Chernobyl. So let's get a couple of things out of the way first. So during the Chernobyl disaster of 1986, large quantities of radioactive material were released from the Chernobyl nuclear power plant into the surrounding environment. This area is a 30-kilometer or 19-mile radius surrounding the exploded reactor, which was evacuated and sealed off by the Soviet authorities. This area was formalized as the Chernobyl Exclusion Zone, or the CEZ, and its boundaries have changed over time, so people don't turn into strangely attractive fishmen, 50-foot women, or a three-eyed fish. But following the dissolution of the Soviet Union, this area became part of the newly independent Ukraine, and was managed by the State Emergency Service of Ukraine. Now the battle. So in the afternoon of the 24th of February 2022, the first days of the 2022 Russian invasion of Ukraine, the Ukrainian government announced that the Russian forces had launched an attack to capture Chernobyl and the Chernobyl Exclusion Zone, and even Pripyat. By the end of the day, the Ukrainian government further announced that the Russian forces had captured Chernobyl and even Pripyat, or the marshes of Pripyat. Following the Russian capture of the Exclusion Zone, the American government announced credible reports that Russian soldiers are currently holding the staff of the Chernobyl facilities hostage. It was also reported that artillery shelling hit radioactive waste storage locations, and an increase in radioactivity was actually observed. However, the International Atomic Energy Agency, or the IAEA, has stated there had been no casualties nor destruction at the industrial site. Now let's get some reactions. Reaction content. So Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky called the Russian capture of the zone a declaration of war against the whole of Europe. Mikhailo Podolyak, advisor to the head of the president's office in Ukraine, was quoted as Mikhailo Podolyak, advisor to the head of the president's office in Ukraine, was quoted as saying that it was a totally pointless attack, and the condition of the former Chernobyl nuclear power plant, containment, and nuclear waste storage facilities is unknown. However, the International Atomic Energy Agency stated that there was no casualties nor destruction at the industrial site, and that it was of vital importance that the safe and secure operation of the nuclear facility in that zone should not be affected or disrupted in any way. Now, the last part, the analysis. Why capture Chernobyl? So let's see. So in the greater picture of the Kiev offensive, the capture of Chernobyl can be considered a waypoint for Russian troops advancing towards Kiev. Ben Hodges, former commanding general of the United States Army Europe, stated that the exclusion zone was important because of where it sits. If Russian forces were attacking Kiev from the north, Chernobyl is right in their way and right on their way. So, former American Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Russia, Ukraine, and Eurasia, Evelyn Farkas, said that the Russian forces want to surround the capital, and that they certainly do not want any loose nuclear material floating around, in case of a Ukrainian insurgency. The exclusion zone is important for containing fallout from the Chernobyl nuclear disaster of 1986. As such, Ukrainian Interior Affairs Advisor Anton Herashenko said that if the occupiers' artillery strike hits the nuclear waste storage facility, radioactivity dust may cover the territories of Ukraine, Belarus, and the EU countries. According to the BBC, monitoring stations in the area reported a 20-fold increase in radioactivity levels up to 65 USV/H, which is the measurement of ionizing radiation and fallout radiation in the area. Charlie Courthill of Sheffield University said that the increase was localized and was due in part to increased movement of people and vehicles in and around the Chernobyl zone that will have kicked up the radioactive dust that's on the ground thus far. And with that, that is the Battle of Chernobyl thus far. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something. I did learn something. It took me like 4 hours to learn it to make a 5-minute video, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. I hope it was a good experience for you. Ukraine still holds out a week later. I mean, it's not going to be a winter war scenario, but a week in modern times for two nations that are kind of head-to-head, but more of a winter war style. It is pretty impressive, so we'll see what this week brings us. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something. Do not turn into a weirdly attractive fish person. And until next time, ladies, gentlemen, and MB, I'll see you next time. Sanitize, stay safe, and I'll keep working on my voice. Hopefully, this is pretty good for what it was. And I'll see you next time. Learn something, and bye bye.